Every student has a story, has experiences, has a vision for what school can and should be. Building an equitable and inclusive school environment needs to start with students.
Would you mind looking at the camera for me? There you go.
Through all of our work in schools, we've noticed that there's a gap between what staff perceive the student experience to be and what students are actually experiencing. This perception gap leads to serious inequities where students feel unheard, unrepresented, and misunderstood. We created the Voices framework in an effort to close this gap.
By amplifying and empowering authentic student voice, the Voices framework positions students as change agents in their schools. I have done a lot of equity work in my career. What makes Voices different is it gives students a seat around the table, a decision-making table, from the beginning of the project. There's never a time in a Voices project where a student's voice isn't heard.
The Voices framework started in 2015 in a suburban Minnesota school district. This district, like so many others across the country, was grappling with the fact that their teachers needed to go beyond the data and feel the hurt some of their students were experiencing because of inequities. Through implementation of the Voices framework, they uncovered the perception gap, systemic policy issues. They learned that when teachers shift their thinking, it unlocks empathy, understanding, and a newfound commitment to providing more equitable environments for all students.
Since 2015, we have worked with numerous schools to implement the Voices framework, which combines video, student voice, facilitation to transform adult minds. Our framework provides a highly relevant and engaging process for students and staff to enter into constructive conversations about engagement, diversity, equity, inclusion, distance learning, relevance, and even more. When adults and schools have deeper understanding of their students' experiences, it transforms their mindsets, leading to positive change in how they approach their work with students and each other. Voices is designed to guide hearts so minds can be moved to action.
What this forced us to do was not just have student perspective, but students at the table. What I learned quickly is that when you're authentic and pull the Band-Aid off and go right to the source, it might be courageous to start, but it's actually really addicting. With students, when they give you the raw emotion experiences of their day-to-day lives in your school, it's the best data you can use, and you're forced to change.
The Voices framework follows a PDSA cycle, Plan, Do, Study, Act. So for planning, we're talking to school leaders, we're determining focus, we're trying to figure out what is it that we want to be talking to students about. Doing, we're building trust with your students, we're interviewing them, we're getting to hear their stories, and then we edit a video together that your staff is able to watch. In Study, we take that video and we help lead facilitated conversations with your staff to unpack some of the stories that students have shared. And with ACT, we guide you through ways to continue amplifying student voice to help create systemic changes in your school or district.
What I really appreciate about the Voices framework is it is personal because these are your kids that you serve. We have data that says we're doing great. We're doing really well. We also now have data and stories that says, hey, it hasn't been good. It's not good at all. And we ought to do something about it. And so once they get that gut check of hearing it from the source, it does spur up some changes to happen in each classroom and each building.
The Voices framework will be transformational because it is your students, and they will bring things that you won't realize are there, and you have to be willing to hear it, but they also will hold you accountable in ways that you'll be so thankful for.
It is through courageous leadership that transformative change is possible. Students are ready to be heard. It's time we amplify their voices and listen.